Alright, so to start the day off, I put the 18-inch tall pantry cabinet in first, secure the legs, and then I start to assemble the rest of the base cabinets and the upper cabinets as well. So I recommend you put some cardboard on the floor when you're doing this assembly so you don't scratch any of the surfaces. And make sure everything is square by measuring in an X pattern on the back after you've secured the back panel. Alright, so we continue assembling the rest of the upper cabinets here. It's fairly easy work, the instructions are very easy. And then here we're positioning the cabinets on the wall. And then the next step is we're clamping all the uppers together and making sure that the faces all align with each other. And then we're screwing them all together. And then I continue on here, and what I'm doing here is adjusting the legs, making sure everything is plumb. And I'm laying out the hole and cutting the hole for the plug that will go and fit into the side of the pantry. Alright, so now that that hole is cut, the next step is I need to put a finish panel between the tall pantry and the end of the other upper cabinets. So this is a glossy finish panel, which is the same as the doors, and we need to clamp this and screw it all together, making sure that everything is aligned properly, the top and the bottom, the reveal, how much it projects out the face of the pantry box itself, so that when the door goes on it's nice and flush. And that brings all the little details together. Now carrying on here, I've cut my track for the lower base cabinets. Now this isn't always necessary, but I recommend it. Just adds a little bit of extra support to the back of the cabinet where it meets the wall. I've already located my studs, and I'm screwing the track to the studs, or into the studs, with 2-inch number 8 Robertson. So make sure that's absolutely level. Alright, so the next thing I need to do now is bring the wire up from underneath the cabinet and hook up the box for the plug, and then cut that hole out inside the pantry through the new finish panel, and lay that out and cut it. Alright, so this is where we're at. Got that finished panel, the 24 by 90 on the side here. Before I put that on, I laid out where my plug's going to go. So this plug is from the old pantry, and I've got to rewire it, and then I have to pop the box in here. So what I got to do right now is I need to drill out that hole through this finished panel, and it'll be somewhere in this vicinity here where I've marked those lines. And if you look closely in the hole, the panel, if there's a gap between the panel and this, before you cut the hole out, put a screw here and here, and it'll just hold it tighter. It'll be easier to do that. And yeah, so let's get that cut. Okay, so that's that cut. What I'm going to do now is score this, and this, where the rectangle is, peel off the finish on here, and then I'll cut that out with my fine tool. Make sure that's dead level. And then you just have to score this lightly. You don't have to press hard. It's better to score lightly a few times than pressing hard once and screwing it up. There we go. So that comes on, and that'll define where you need to cut. Perfect. Now I can cut that out with my flush cutter, and that'll leave that hold up. So unfortunately my camera died and I wasn't able to record me actually installing the plug into the side of the pantry, but nonetheless we move on and prepping the base cabinets, installing the legs, and then hanging them on the track. And then I get my laser level out, make sure that the top of the cabinets are level with the ones next to the fridge, so they're all on the same plane. And then I start clamping them together and screwing them together, making sure the fronts are aligned with each other, just the same process as I did on the upper cabinets. And then I start to install the legs.
Make sure you put this little collar on the leg, and all that does is a little, when you snap the toe kick on here, it pushes it out so it's vertical. So we put these down first, level the front line of the cabinets, and then we'll put the back feet on. And after the front's level, and the back ones just need to be snugged down onto the floor. Let's push that up.
Alright, so now that everything is screwed together, I basically installed the rest of the legs on the front of the base cabinets and raising them or lowering them so that the top of the front of the cabinet is in line with my laser line. Then I get out the 36-inch cabinet and put that together for the sink.
Okay, what we're looking at here is the plumbing for the sink. I'm just going to reroute the water lines because they were too close to the drainage for the sink. So originally this feed right here was the hot water, and it went up like that. And there was another one that went up like this, and it had this shut off on it, which was leaking, so that needed replacing anyways. But what I want to do here is I want to run my lines closer to the back wall, both of them, with the shut-offs of this side. The reason I'm doing that is because the original plumbing, this was the stack, I just cut it off, went like so. So there's the drain, and then here's the stack to allow the gases to escape. The sink drainage was located right here because I had two traps, and it fell exactly in line with the shut-offs. It was just too tight to turn them off, so I want to reroute all that. Plus, I think it'll just look cleaner with these back here. And yeah, so let's get that going. Now, if you've never done this kind of work before, it's fairly easy, at least it is now. These fittings here are called Sharkbites. They're actually a brand. It came out, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, maybe longer, who knows, but they were a bit of a contention when they first came out. A lot of plumbers and tradespeople weren't sure if this was actually a valid product, but now it has been deemed safe, and it's to code, so you can use this to do any plumbing stuff that you like. Benefits of this is that you don't need to solder any of the joints, so that's pretty cool. It's just like cut your pipe, clean it up, and then you pop your fitting on and you're good to go. And it comes in all sorts of pieces. This is a T-junction. You have your shut-off valves. So you have, this is 1/2 inch to 3/8. 3/8 is standard here in Canada. They also have 1/4 inch. They have all different sizes. Yeah, they're great pieces. So if you wanted to tackle your own plumbing, you can definitely do that. Or you can always go the other method of actually soldering. And I know how to do that as well. This is just a whole lot quicker. So this is the road I'm taking today. I thought I'd go over a couple of the essential tools you'll need to do basic plumbing job with the Sharkbite fittings. And there's 3 little tools that you're gonna need. First one is your cutting tool, which is this little circular gadget here for cutting your copper pipe. This one is specifically for copper. It has a cutter on the bottom of the wheel you can see inside. and the top has 2 rollers. You pop your copper pipe in there, and then you rotate your copper clockwise in the direction of these arrows right here. And very simple to use. After you've cut your pipe to the required length, before you pop your fitting on, you need to remove the sharp edge that's created from the cutting tool, and that process is called deburring. So what you need to do is find yourself a tool like this. This is a deburring tool specifically for copper pipe, and this works on various sizes. It goes from inch, 3/4, 1/2 inch, 5/8, 3/8, and 1/4 inch on the very bottom. It's very simple to use. So we're doing 1/2 inch here, so we would pop the 1/2 inch copper into the 1/2 inch slot and then rotate that a few times. And you take it out, and then this edge right here will be smoother, Now, the reason you need to do that is because inside the Sharkbite fitting, there's that white sleeve there, and that actually goes inside the copper pipe. And if you do not deburr this edge, you will not create a seal between the inside and the outside of the pipe, and your fitting will definitely leak. So, something to take into consideration. Now, the good thing about these Sharkbite fittings is that you can reuse them. I probably wouldn't recommend removing the fitting more than twice, because I really don't know how dependable they would be beyond that many times. But if you did put one on and you made a mistake and you need to pop it off, it's quite simple to do. So we'll put the fitting on first, and you push it all the way down. You'll hear it click at the end. Like that. There we go. And then you would use this little tool here. Now this is specifically for 1/2 inch pipe. I guess you could use it for PEX as well. Essentially what you do is you pop this onto the copper and you push up onto that little sleeve part right there. And when you push up on that, it releases the tension on the inside of the fitting, and this pops off. So this is how it works. Just put that on there, and it requires a bit of force to get it up because obviously it's a pressure fitting. So, and it pops off. There you go. So that's that. So I purchased these 3 tools at Home Depot when I bought my Sharkbite fittings, because I only needed a couple. The little collar here for popping off your fitting cost a few bucks. The cutter, I think this was $10, and the deburring was also about $10. But if you're doing small jobs, this deburring tool is great. If you're doing something more extensive, then you probably require a more professional tool. So keynote, after you cut your pipe, clean the pipe, get all this oxidation crap off. And there's a couple of different ways you can do that. Simplest is just take a piece of fine sandpaper. This is just 120. I like this because it's a sponge, so you can manipulate it a bit. You can just put this right in there and then just rotate it. And there we go. Clean as a whistle. All right, so let's get this done. Okay, so that's good. I will likely put a block under here to support it. I don't want it flapping in the wind, so just put a small piece of wood there, and then you can use these little straps to hold it on. Now these are actually meant for PEX, which is the plastic type tubing that replaces copper. You see it in most new houses, new construction these days, but I think these work pretty well for copper too. I mean, you can use them for anything really, but they're very simple. Snap it in, pinches the line, and all you have to do is squeeze it together, and then you run your screw or your nail through those holes, and Bob's your uncle. And that's good. Height wise, we're at 4 inches now, so we're still underneath the cabinet, which is great. And then we're gonna come up. All right, so that's what we got so far. So now, because the lines are still open and there's no stopper, this is the piece you put on top. So pop that on there, pop that on there. Then you can turn your water on.
check for any leaks, and if it's all good, then you can proceed to the next step, which would be cutting the holes out for your cabinet. Okay, the water's on. Let's check this bad boy out. No leaks, folks. I like that. So, perfect. All right, so let's get our cabinet mocked up into the right location, and then we can cut our holes, fit it over top, and get it done today. So there we go, everything's clamped up. We got our blocks leak free. So continuing on here, I lay out my hole for the stack in the side of the cabinet, cut it all out with my jigsaw, make sure everything is measured accurately. Take your time here. It's always good to get it bang on the first time so you don't have any big gaping holes in the bottom of your cabinet, and then install it. Alright, well that was good. Measurements are accurate. Got that pipe in there. It's coming in at a really awkward, weird angle, so my cuts were perfect. Oh yeah. And then down here, good to go. Just enough room to add a little extension piece on there. We're following right on our line. So we're coming 26 out from here over, and then this is also 26. So all I gotta do now is just add a finish panel here, and then do a little L section, which will be a little corner. And got plenty of room for the door to open here, and then on this side these will be drawers, so there's plenty of room for those to open. You want to make sure that you're you have to take into account the fact you're gonna have hardware on the door, so it's gonna project out further, and then when you slide that, you don't want to hit it. So we got plenty of room there, so that's good. And then for here, we're gonna have our dishwasher, and then we're gonna have a little bit of extra space here, actually. Oops, sorry, Welly. I just kicked my cat. Sorry about that, buddy. Didn't mean to do that. So yeah, we have 29 inches, or 28 and a half to the end, which means that we'll have about a 3.5 inches of space. Now I was thinking maybe I could do some sort of a slide out here, but I don't think that's going to work out. Ideally, I would do dishwasher. So, which will be 24. That will go to here, and then we have 4.5 inches. So if we had a gable there, so let's say that's we have basically 4 inches. There's going to be a gable here, and that's 1/2 inch. So that will be 28, and then this will be the side of the dishwasher, but there'll also be a panel there. So actually, it's only going to be 3.5 inches. What do you put in a 3.5 inch space? Trays. You could put wine bottles, I guess, but that's going to look pretty tacky, I think. So I think what I'll do is, not sure. See how much space is left, and maybe I'll do some custom little rack in there. Ideally, I wanted to have the sink centered with the window. Yeah, not possible. Well, I could have the sink. No, I can't, because the sink is almost the width of this entire cabinet, so it'll be a little bit off center, but that's the best we can do with the space we have. Because if I move this, well, maybe I can move it over a little bit, but there'll be a panel here, then there'll be a panel there. Move it over 1 inch, and that's a door, and then, yeah, I might be able to make it, but I want it to be equal.